Hello, hello, beautiful ones. How are we doing? You should hop on and join me. Say hello. What I'm going to do is close down the many tabs on my computer to see if that makes a difference with the signal problems we had yesterday. It's really strange. It's saying my internet is fine on my computer, but not on StreamYard. So we're going to see how we get on. Worst case, I'll switch to my phone. But hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm just going to pin the video to the top of the group. There we go. I'm going to click on it so I can see any comments as and when they come through. So welcome to day 5. We are on day 5 already. So far we have looked at mindfulness and the importance of that. We have looked at, oh dear, my brain's gone. What else did we look at? We looked at, oh dear Lord, we went to gratitude. Yeah, gratitude was the next thing where we used that as a portal, a gateway to feel that abundance and to step into that higher self. Then we looked at, oh dear Lord, my brain is going now. Then we looked at, well, yesterday I can tell you what we looked at. We looked at how we can cultivate a healthy ego. And someone tell me, what did we do on day 3? I feel like I've missed day 3. Hi, Tam, beautiful, gorgeous to have you here. Hi, Susan, lovely. Hope you are having a gorgeous day. What did we do day 3? My brain has completely gone. And I should know because it's on my notes. No, it's gone. We'll remember later, I'm sure. But today, I will tell you what we're doing today. Today, we are not going to have a chance to revisit things because I wanted to spend some time, some really good time, helping you create a manifestation statement. Now, Tam said we did journaling. That was wasn't that? Oh, maybe it was. Oh, yeah, we did journaling. You're right. We did journaling day 3. I was thinking that was yesterday, but yesterday we did breath work. You're right. So today, I'm glad you know what we're doing. So today we are making a manifestation statement. So what do I mean by a manifestation statement? Well, some of you would have created a manifestation statement with me before. This is a kind of guide of how you want to live your life, of the things that you want to have in your life, the things that you want to be present in your life, the way you want to show up in your life. And we put these things down on a piece of paper, and it is something that I personally read every morning, my manifestation statement. And it includes everything from the impact I'm having in the world, the way I'm showing up, the mother I'm being, the wife I'm being, the way that I move through my day. So the lifestyle I'm creating, the things that are important to me, the things that I say yes to, the things that I say no to, the boundaries I have in place. So it's basically a framework for the life I'm creating. And I remind myself of this every single morning. Because it's easy to forget, right? It's easy to forget what's important to us. And if we're not careful, we will find that life just leads us around and we make decisions not based on our values, not based on what's important to us, but based on what's easy in the moment, or, based on what other people think we should do, or based on what's right for others, but not for us. And then before we know it, we're in a place where we feel resentful, or we start looking back on our life and realize we haven't done any of the things that we said we wanted to do. We haven't been the person that we said we wanted to be. And we've got this we've then got to deal with the regret and resentment of that. So it's super important, if there's, we go into our day, we remember who it is we are, the person we're choosing to be, the way we're choosing to show up, and I'll give you some really good examples of this. Tam, you're looking forward to revising yours. Love that. So here's the thing. If I'm not careful, I can find complacency sets in all areas of my life, right? Before I know it, my, relationship with my husband, for example, it sounds awful, but I'm going to say it. If I'm not careful, we've been together 10 years, I can get really complacent. I can forget to make time for him. I can forget to really be present for him, to really show up as that caring, supportive partner. I can forget to, schedule time into my week so that we can have that quality time together as a couple and nurture our relationship. Because we all know, right? Relationships take work, they take commitment, they take time. It's about the quality that you put into a relationship, which will dictate what you get back from it. And so as part of my manifestation statement, I have this where I remember the wife I want to be. I remember the way I want to show up for my husband. I remember that, when he comes home from work, the way I want to interact in that situation, so that I'm not allowing my life to be dictated by external circumstances. I'm creating the life I desire. Is that making sense? So also in my manifestation statement, can you hear Luna? She's sat outside the door wanting to come in, but I'm not letting her in. She's been a nightmare. Other things in my manifestation statement is the energy I'm choosing to take into that day. Especially this time of year, right? We're in that winter energy. From an Ayurvedic lens, this is when it can get heavy. We can feel unmotivated. We can find ourselves putting things off, procrastinating, not really feeling passionate, not really feeling like we've got that mojo. So it's even more important for me to read my manifestation statement in the morning to remind me of the beautiful impact I want to have on people's lives, to remind me of the fact that I actually am going to choose to go into my day with that energy of love and gratitude and meaning and passion for what I'm doing. If I'm not careful, if I don't have that in my manifestation statement, then what I can find is I go into the day, it's grey outside, I'm feeling tired, I don't feel like doing anything. And then I bring this sluggish, negative, icky energy into my day. And then lo and behold, my day will be pants. It's like those times when you get out of bed and you stub your toe and then you spill your coffee and then you're stuck in traffic. And before you know it, it feels like the whole day is a write-off, right? Whereas the manifestation statement is the opposite. It's the opposite to that. So it's checking in with yourself to go, right, no, this is the life I'm creating. This is how I'm being. This is how I'm showing up. This is the mother I'm being. This is the wife I'm being. This is the daughter I'm being and the best friend or whatever it is that's important to you. Then actually you feel excited to actually allow that to unfold during the day based on your energy. Do you know what? Bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just going to put her in the lounge because she sat right outside the door. 2 seconds. I'm back. So with this, first of all, we need to figure out what we want, right? What is our abundant life? What is the life that we're choosing to create as the amazing manifestors that we are? Bearing in mind, manifestation is nothing more than having a vision and then bringing it to life with your energy and your actions. That's all it is. Prioritizing it, making sure it's something that you are living. So we need to ask ourselves some questions around this. We need to ask ourselves some questions around, what does that abundant life look like for me? So I invite you to get your journals out, or pen and paper. I've managed to say it the right way around this time. Tam, you've got really good at turning a day around when you've had one of those mornings. So pleased to hear it. Lovely. Makes such a difference, right? Huge difference. Like I say, this time of year, I feel like I need this more than ever. So your first question to ask yourself is, if you could just design it, if you could wave a magic wand, if you could make anything happen, bearing in mind that you can, what would, number one, how, let me see if I can word this the right way. Who would you be being? That sounds like a really long sentence. So if you could wave a magic wand, who would you be being? And a good way to kind of help identify this is to think about the people, maybe in your life, maybe in the world, that you really admire. Who are those people for you that make you go, oh, wow, I love how they do that. I love that quality they possess. Now, what I know to be true, I just want to counteract something that might come up for you here. I've heard, when I've taught this before, I've had some people say to me, but surely that means I'm not being authentic. No, that's not the case. The truth is, if there's a quality that we're admiring in someone else, that's because it's a mirror to us. So it's a mirror of something that's within us that we can bring further to life, that we can put more emphasis on, that we can really showcase. And the fact that we admire it tells us that something about who we inherently are. So say, for example, some of the people that I admire, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, and I'll tell you why. Not only because, of her interest in the spiritual world, in her interest in things like manifestation, that's kind of a side note to why I admire Oprah Winfrey. What I really love about her is her tenacity. I love the fact that she got sacked from her first job, and many people would have given up at that hurdle, but she didn't. She carried on going. She's got that drive and determination that if there's something she wants, she'll go after it. And I know that that's a big part of who I am. And I really admire that in other people. There's nothing that I love to see more than someone chasing their dreams and chasing their desires, especially when other people around them don't get it. Like, to me, it's like, I just think it's one of the best things about the human race. Well, one of many. So I love that. I also love, oh God, there's so many people I love and admire. I'm just thinking about this now. Michelle Obama. I really like Michelle Obama. And the reason being, I love the fact that she says what she thinks, in the respect of she's unapologetic. She's unapologetic about her views. She's unapologetic about her stance. But it also comes from a place of great compassion. You can really feel that from her. So to me, again, so being tenacious, having that compassion, saying what you think, like that authenticity to me is a really big thing to me. If ever I'm in a situation where I feel like I can't be authentic or I can't operate from my integrity, it's not going to work for me. So this is a good idea of helping you figure out what your values are as well. So start to think about this. If you could wave a magic wand, who would you be being right now? What are those qualities that you would possess? What are those qualities that you would showcase? So another thing for me is being really present for the people that I love. And when I say present, I don't necessarily mean physically present. But when I'm in conversation with my children or my husband or my friends or the people that are important to me, it's really important for me that those people feel heard by me, that they feel seen by me, that they feel like I'm there for them. And that only happens when I make a conscious choice to be super present. So I'm hoping this is starting to kind of get your cogs working. And don't forget, you can come back to this. I'm not expecting you to complete this all in this session, because actually I have spent years curating mine, changing mine, adapting mine to make sure that it's aligned to the vision I'm creating for my future. So I would love to know, pop in the comments as we go through this, if you could wave a magic wand, if you could design this from scratch, who would you be being on a daily basis? What qualities would you be demonstrating? Pop it in the comments. Hi, Sam, beautiful. Gorgeous to have you here. We are just creating our manifestation statements. And so the first question to ask yourself is, if you could wave a magic wand, who would you be being right now? And so a really good way to look at this is to look at what's the qualities you admire in other people. So pop it in the comments. What are the things that you would be demonstrating right now? I'm going to wait for you to pop those in. Not just you, Sam, I should say that. It's not all on you. So that's question number one. Question number two. If you could wave a magic wand, if you could design it from scratch, if anything was possible, what would your relationships look like right now? So in this, I would include your most important relationships. So that might be your relationship. Well, it should definitely include the relationship with yourself. So how are you treating yourself? How are you talking to yourself? How are you respecting yourself? But also, the other people in your life, if you have a significant other, if you have children, if you have friends, if you have family that are really important to you, what do those relationships look like? And get as specific as you can with all of this. Because this is going to help you form your most abundant life. So you want to make sure that you're manifesting the right thing, right? You want to make sure it's something that's going to make you genuinely happy, rather than something you think you should want or should be okay. This is about you getting really curious without judgment. Remember, without judgment. So if something comes up for you in this that makes you go, ooh, that seems selfish or conceited, or you're putting some kind of judgment on it, see if you can let that go and just allow the things to flow that want to flow. You can dissect them afterwards. So that's number 2. Number 3, if you could wave a magic wand, I'm waving a magic wand, and you could design it from scratch, what would you be doing in terms of work, job, purpose? And I use those things interchangeably, because actually what you do as a job and what you do for purpose might be slightly different. They might be 2 separate things. But for now, considering if it was just one thing, what would that look like? What would that be? How would that feel? What sort of tasks might that involve? What kind of hours might that involve? What kind of setup might that involve? So I'll give you an example here. And I mentioned this conversation actually earlier in the week. But I've got a client that I'm working with who was designing her business. So not all of you will have businesses, I understand that, but I'll use this as an example. But she was designing her business around what other people in her local market were doing. So she was running things in a certain way, in certain locations, for a certain duration. And she was telling herself the story, I need to do it this way because this is what the market's doing. But the problem is when we're doing things from what everyone else is doing, rather than looking at what do we actually want to do, we can miss a trick around actually what's going to fill you up, what's going to lift you up, what's going to get you excited, what's going to spur you out of bed in the morning, right? So actually, when we got down to it, she was like, well, actually, what I really want to be doing is running retreats around the world several times a year. I want that to be my predominant income. And so actually, I'm getting to do what I love, which is the travel as well as the work I'm doing, and bring those 2 elements together. But there was a part of her that was telling a story that, oh no, I need to have this sort of business first before I can do that, when that's really not the case. So this is what I mean about if you had a blank piece of paper, what would that look like? And I'll tell you, when I first started doing this, I remember thinking, well, do you know what? I'd quite like an online business because one of my big values is freedom. And so I want the freedom to be able to work from anywhere. I want the freedom to be able to arrange my days in a way that I want to arrange them. I want the freedom to be able to go out in the camper van one day and work from the camper van one day. I want to know that if I decide to take myself off to France or Spain for a few weeks, then I can just go work there. So to me, that freedom that came from an online business was really important. But actually, had I followed the local market or followed what everyone else was doing in my industry around certain things, then, the majority of people are doing my work in person. But I had to give myself permission to go, well, no, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. And we only get to figure that out when we're really honest with ourselves and let go of the stories that we've got associated with the thing. So that was number 3. Number 4, what kind of lifestyle and experiences would I be having? So I've kind of mentioned a little bit about this in terms of myself. So for me, freedom is a big value of mine. When I feel constricted by how I need to do things, or the way I need to do them, or routines and structure, I feel really unhappy. I feel really stuck. I feel like I'm in a straitjacket. So for me, freedom, I have to have freedom in my days. I have to have time for myself. I have to have, I'm kind of going off on all my values here, but I have to feel like I'm ever evolving, ever growing. So I have to have time in my life for things like learning, development. I need to have time for self-care. I need to have time for my family. So once I can start getting these little bits together, then I can start designing the overall picture of the life I'm creating. Hopefully, this is making sense. And the final question I would invite you to ask yourself is, if you could wave a magic wand, what would your wealth and finances look like? Now, I've purposely put this in here because I think often in the spiritual community, this is not a topic we want to look at. Or we can get into stories around it not being spiritual to want to have a financial resource, which, let's be honest, that's all it is. It's a tool to allow us to do the things we want to do. It's a tool to allow us to make more of an impact in the world. It's a tool to actually provide for our families. And the more that we can be unapologetic about what that is for us, the more able we are to create it. Now, if we've got stories going on around, it's not, money is the root of all evil. We might have stories around like money doesn't grow on trees, or we've got to work really hard for money. If I earn a lot of money, then I'm going to have to give up something else. If I earn a lot of money, that means I won't spend a lot of time with my family. And I see this time and time again with my clients. Money is often a big thing that we need to work through, especially as women, if we're working in the well-being or spiritual space, to allow ourselves permission to actually receive, to get comfortable with receiving, especially in like a financial form. So this is an opportunity to be really honest with yourself around, if you could wave a magic wand, right? If you could wave a magic wand, what would that income look like? What would your savings look like? What would you have in terms of investments? Because you need to acknowledge it before you can create it. You need to allow yourself to have that desire in order for you to actually manifest that desire. Now, this isn't about like being deluded, right? So as you go through this, what I would invite you to do is check in with yourself around, do I really think that I can do that? Do I really think that's achievable for me? And if the answer right now is no, then it might be that you just need to pick something that feels like a stretch, but is doable. You think, oh, that would be amazing. It's somewhat scary, but I think I might be able to do it. This is how I've worked through my money blocks in my business, is like one stretch at a time. So like that first stretch of, ooh, this feels like a leap. Do you see what I mean? So I'm going to give you a minute to think about those questions. Sam, since your dad's been ill, that you've learned to be kinder to yourself, not stress about things that might go wrong. You listen to your body and communicate with your customers. Sorry, I can't read and talk at the same time. Bear with me. Yeah. And I love the fact that you're balancing that out with being kind to yourself, because it's the same with money, right? Our relationship with money should feel like a good thing. It shouldn't feel, if emotion is bringing up, if money or the thought of money or generating money or having money or anything about money brings up emotion for you, then that would indicate there's a money block going on. And that's not necessarily in regards to you, Sam, just generally. So if money makes you feel emotional in any way, whether that's a strong aversion to it or, like want, there's a money block somewhere. And that's something we need to work through, because money is just a tool. It's a resource. It's like getting overly emotional about, or getting emotional about, I was going to say something then, and I thought, oh, I bet a lot of people are emotional about that. I was going to say spreadsheets, but do you know what I mean? It's like getting emotional about your diary. It's a tool. Money is a tool. It's a resource. It's nothing to get emotional about. So if we're finding emotion comes up, then actually this part about your wealth and financial security might be for you to feel comfortable with money, for you to actually enjoy having savings in the bank. It might be for you to get excited when you see your investments going up month by month by month. Yeah. So I hope that's making sense. So those are the initial questions to ask yourself. And then what you want to do is to pop this into a manifestation statement. So what we do is we look at those different areas and we write a statement as if it's already happening. So I was going to read you mine, but I've closed it down so not to mess up the signal for today. So I'll have to try and remember what's on it. So say, for example, my manifestation statement starts with the energy I'm taking into the day. So I talk about who I'm being. So as I step into today, I am going into this day with heart open, with gratitude for all that I have and appreciation for what I get to do and the people in my life. As I step into this day, I am being the best version of myself, operating from integrity, with presence, with the people that I love. And I am excited to begin the work of supporting others to transform. So what I would invite you to do is start creating your statement that covers these areas, that actually gets you excited for the day ahead. Like as I say those things to myself, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm excited for that. I'm looking forward to that. Even if before that, my energy was off. Even if before that, my energy was flat. Even if I woke up with no motivation whatsoever and I slept really badly. When I read my manifestation statement, there should be an emotional charge that comes with it. So this is why it's important to spend time really cultivating this, using words that actually really resonate with you. So words that actually fill you with joy and excitement and passion, so that you can take that energy as you go into the day. Then my statement might say things like, my relationship with my husband is wonderful. We take time to sit down and listen to each other and to understand how each other is feeling. We have regular commitments about time that we put aside just to spend time together and doing things that build love and joy and fun in our relationship, so it doesn't get stagnant and boring. I might say in there, I'm just doing this off the top of my head. I might say under like my mothering that today I'm showing up as the best mother I can be by being really present with my children, by not stepping into judgment if I find they behave in a way that doesn't resonate with me. Do you see what I mean? So it's things that reminds me of the person I want to be, of the parent I want to be, of the wife I want to be. But also, like say, how I'm talking to myself is a big part of my manifestation statement, because this was a thing that I had to really work on. You know, I've been quite open in my journey. When I look back at the way I used to talk to myself in my head, especially like teenage years, 20s, I was super, super critical, super judgmental, never felt like anything I did was good enough. I would be the harshest critic. And so when your own internal voice is doing that to yourself, like, what chance have you got, right? So I started this process of becoming my own best friend, starting to talk to myself like I would if it was my best friend, offer myself the same compassion that I would to my best friend or to a child. But that was a long process, right? That was a long established pattern of behavior that took ages to ingrain. And so it took ages to create something new. So I had to remind myself every single day that actually I'm going into this day and giving myself the grace and compassion that I deserve in each and every moment. I don't beat myself up over mistakes. I learn from them. I take that wisdom and I keep going forward. Like I say, self-compassion was a big one for me. That's a big part of my manifestation statement. I allow myself to have the time, the attention that I deserve. I don't feel guilty about taking time for self-care. I don't feel guilty about having boundaries with those I love around when I'm looking after me. So do you see what I mean? It should fill you with a, yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's who I'm being. This is what I'm going to do today. Sorry, I'm just catching up on comments. I'm not ignoring you. So here's the thing, Sam. So you say about, you know, people that work but don't listen to their body, and then they become run down and it turns into stress. What I would invite you to think about is stress comes when we're busy doing things we don't want to do. If we can run our business from passion, then actually it's not about working yourself into the ground because you can't wait to do it. It comes from a different energy source. So like the truth is I can easily work a 16-hour day, easily, because I love what I do, right? And it doesn't come from a I must, I should. You know, if I ever get into I must, I should energy, I'm like, right, I need a break. But the truth is, like, I'm laid in bed thinking about, oh, I could be running that workshop and I think that would really help people. So if you're associating work with stress, I would invite you to think about, okay, how can you get the passion behind that instead of seeing it as like this stressful pursuit? How can you get passionate about it? What would make you excited? And if your business isn't getting you excited at the moment, then perhaps there's some changes you need to make. So this is where spending time with that question around, if I could wave a magic wand, what would I be doing with my time in terms of purpose and work? What would that look like? And then you get to make a plan to make it a reality, right? Perfect. Yeah, I love the motivational quotes. So this is a bit more than the motivational quotes because it's aligned to the vision that you're creating. It's aligned to the life that you want to have. So the truth is, when we're reading it over and over and over again, that is the vision that we're going to create. That is the life we're going to create. So if it says on your manifestation statement, I earn 100K a year, doing what I love, doing this thing, it looks like this, then that's what you will start taking action towards, because that's what your subconscious is telling you is going to happen. So of course you're going to take the action. So I hope that makes sense. So as I said, this step 2, once you've got clear on these answers, is to put it in a manifestation statement, write it all out as if it's already happening. And so as you start your day, you're looking at this statement, remembering, exactly who you're being, exactly who you want to be this day. And then we're going to build on this a little bit more tomorrow. But for now, your homework is to get really clear on this and come back to this manifestation statement every day. And don't be afraid to adapt and change it. Don't be afraid to realign it. If something is feeling off, if you realize, oh, actually, I don't think I really do want that thing. I think that's something that I've just been told I should want. How many times are we told? I'll give you an example. I remember when I bought a house, I've been told for years by family, friends, you got to get on the property ladder. You got to buy a house. You got to do this thing. And we do own our house at the moment, I should say. So this is something. But for me, when I bought the house, I didn't feel a massive sense of elation. I felt almost like a bit of dread. I thought, great, mortgage now for the next 25 years. Although I'm not stuck in it, I can move on and things like that. And don't get me wrong, there's part of me that's pleased to a certain degree because of equity and things like that. But actually, the truth is, I know very successful people that have the money to do so and choose not to buy property because they don't want the hassle of it. They don't want to be thinking about boiler repairs. They don't want to be thinking about, what to do when the roof goes. They don't want to be thinking about replacing a fence in the high winds. So this is what I mean about be careful about, as you're forming this manifestation statement, make sure it's things that you genuinely want, right? You genuinely care about. Because a bit like we were talking about yesterday, if we want a life that's happy and fulfilling and successful to us, not to other people, to us, then we have to get really honest about who we are and what we desire. So I'm going to leave you with this for today. Spend some time on this, get into the juice of this. Put as much detail down as you can. My manifestation statement, I think, is about 6 pages at the moment, just to give you a bit of idea on context, because I've gone down into that much detail, like about my business, about my relationships, about me, about who I'm being, about the way I show up, about the things I say yes to, about the things I say no to, about the boundaries I have in place, about the money that I have in my bank account, the money I've got in investments, the wealth that I'm building for my family. All of those things are there in my manifestation statement. So have fun with this. Give yourself permission to dream. Give yourself permission to create anything you desire, because it is possible. Do not limit yourself. And make sure to pop anything that comes through for you in the comments if you want to share it with others and have that additional accountability of putting it out there in the ether and saying, this is it, this is what I'm creating, and I'm going to make it happen. And then tomorrow we will look at how we can strengthen the energy behind this even more. So in order to, you really need to do this work before tomorrow. All right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a beautiful evening. What I will mention, actually, sorry, I did mean to say this. Just to mention, we've got 3 days left for early bird pricing for Insights to Awakening. But at the moment, this week, if you sign up before the end of Friday, you also get free access to the Medicine Woman Collective membership. The reason I'm mentioning it now is because we have a workshop in the membership happening this evening. So if you want to join us for that and you have been thinking about signing up to Insights to Awakening, this is the perfect time to do it. I have put the link above. And we would love to see you at the workshop. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care of yourself. I will be here 3 p.m. GMT tomorrow. Take care.